Shot and killed a security guard at the Caribbean Cinemas complex on Tuesday evening. The Ministry of Health supports tougher regulations to control smoking. A call for better waste management as rough seas dump garbage at the Castries waterfront. And CIBC First Caribbean prepares to host its 6th Walk for the Cure event. A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the DBS News World. My name is Timothy Folio. Our top story. A male security guard is dead after being shot during an attempted robbery at the Caribbean Cinemas complex. The incident occurred at about 8 p.m. on Tuesday. DBS's Don Nicholas begins our news coverage.
42-year-old Urias Compton of Corinth Grosile met his untimely demise after confronting robbers during an attempted robbery. Compton was pronounced dead at around 10:20 p.m. on Tuesday.
Police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Urias Dwight Compton, a 42-year-old resident of Corinth Grosile. Officers attached to the Criminal Investigations Department Castries received a report of a shooting at Shock Estate Castries about 8:15 p.m. on Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. The incident took place in the vicinity of Caribbean Cinemas complex. It is reported that Urias Compton, an on-duty security officer, sustained gunshot injuries during a robbery by two masked assailants armed with firearms. An armed civilian who was in close proximity responded. An exchange of gunfire ensued between the assailants and the civilian. During that time, one of the assailants is believed to have been shot. Both suspects subsequently fled the scene. Urias Compton was later conveyed to the Victoria Hospital via ambulance, where he was pronounced dead by a medical practitioner about 10:20 p.m.
We also have an eyewitness account of what transpired.
When the fellow came from inside, the Domino place, was entering the car, the jeep, and fellas, they just ran to him and they start shooting. And he fell, and then the fellas, they ran across. One ran to the right, one ran to the left. And then the police, either security man or policeman, shot after him, and they themselves were shooting behind the police. And then they run across the road, jump in the river, and the fella was on the ground. Then the ambulance came, and they watch at him and then tie him up and put him on the ambulance and take him to the hospital.
The incident occurred around 8 p.m. Tuesday. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
In other news, the Ministry of Health hosted a stakeholder consultation this week to review draft smoking control regulations. Tobacco remains a serious threat to individuals, families, and communities in Saint Lucia. Every year, more than 100 of its people are killed by tobacco-caused diseases, while more than 800 children and more than 14,000 adults continue to use tobacco each day. More in this report from Miguel Morissette.
As part of the efforts of the Ministry of Health and Wellness to lead the response and to address the issue of tobacco consumption, a stakeholder consultation was held at the National Mental Wellness Center on September 5, 2017. A review of the public health smoking control regulation draft and strategies towards tobacco control in Saint Lucia were among the key areas discussed.
We are concerned about the indiscriminate smoking of tobacco products that takes place in our various public places and workplaces, and the danger that it poses for our people, especially where we're talking about NCDs in the Caribbean and in St. Lucia almost as an epidemic. And we need to address those risk factors, the things that we do, our practices, our lifestyle that makes us sick as a people. And so one part of this is a bigger agenda, but one part of this is the tobacco smoking, that we want to do something very serious about curtailing, stopping, helping those to quit, helping persons to be protected from the dangers of tobacco smoke. And so this is what we are looking at today, looking at our legislation to ensure that it is going to address that objective.
The consultation comprised of a number of stakeholders.
We have persons from the private sector. We have the Chamber of Commerce who's here represented. We have all of the health NGOs, Medical and Dental Association, Cancer Society is represented as well as other health NGOs. The ministries, Ministry of Equity, Ministry of Education, Customs Department, and other stakeholders who have a role to play in ensuring that this initiative is successful. Because we want to ensure that when someone lights up, that they are not endangering the lives of other persons. And we also want to encourage persons who do light up to stop, to think about quitting, because there is no safe level of tobacco smoke. There's no safe level of exposure to tobacco smoke.
Chairperson for Non-Communicable Disease Commission, Dr. Owen Gabriel says, every citizen has a prominent role to play in tobacco control.
Everybody must be involved. This is not a job for doctors or nurses or persons in health education. This is everybody's business because everybody's affected. And then we need to find strategic ways of implementing mechanisms to reduce the importation of tobacco products, reduce the consumption of tobacco products, and look at ways to monitor how these interventions are working. So today's session is very important because it brings together a diverse group of people who will see about doing that very thing.
According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, complacency in the face of the tobacco epidemic will ensure the tobacco industry continues to run roughshod over the lives of St. Lucians and ensure that the tobacco's death toll will grow with each passing year. Reporting from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, I am Miguel Morissette.
Some Goodlands residents are counting their blessings after a vehicle veered off the road and landed perilously close to their houses. Irate residents say they have called repeatedly on the authorities to assist with the construction of barriers along that road to prevent such occurrences. Don Nicholas has the details.
We spoke to a nearby resident who wanted to remain anonymous. She said it was around 10 a.m. when she heard the commotion. It was not long before she noticed that a Toyota Belter had landed near her house. She says several vehicles have ended up there before. To make matters worse, one of the residents is said to be suffering with a heart condition.
A few minutes I came out and I saw this young lady sitting on the step there. They pull her out. She was sitting on the step shaking. They asked for water for her. My daughter was supposed to bring the water, but my daughter herself was shaking so much. The guy kept telling her, bring the water, bring the water. So I tell him, well, bring her down because my daughter is shaking. But then my husband take the water. We gave her water to drink. And then she, understands herself.
The irate resident says repeated calls on the authorities to assist in the construction of barriers along that dangerous stretch of road have gone unanswered.
I mean, there are so many electrical poles done. Don't tell me these people cannot give us a few poles. Cut them and give it to us. We'll do the rest because it is for our safety. They're not doing nothing to help us. And they're saying they're for the people. Which people are they for?
Just recently, a pickup van plunged into the same spot. Fortunately, no one was injured. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
We continue the broadcast with news that the Events Company of Saint Lucia, the Cultural Development Foundation, and the Folk Research Center have collaborated to host the Arts and Heritage Month. The month forms part of the Soleil Festival series. Alex Busque has more.
CEO of the Events Company of St. Lucia, Thomas Leos, says agencies cannot really confine a celebration of art and culture to 1 month of the year. But the intention, he says, is to draw focused attention to our culture and heritage during that period.
The celebrations will be staged across the length and breadth of St. Lucia throughout the month of October. The Arts and Heritage Festival will come to the customary crescendo which has become the norm for the month of October, with the celebration of Journée Creole in the selected host communities. These communities will themselves be staging a number of activities during October.
The executive director of the FRC, Hilary LaForce, announced the 4 host communities for the Creole Festival.
So once again, we are quite happy in that collaboration. I could tell you that this year, the 4 host communities are Babodo in the north, more or less northeast, Vieux-Fort in the south, Larissus Dennery in the east, and Marigot in the west. Now, while in most areas there would be the vending and the presentation of foods, Creole foods for consumption, each of these communities would have something special.
The 3 entities, CDF, FRC, and the events company, will produce an event called the Creole Market.
I'm sure some of you may have remembered the artist market between Baywalk and Rodney Bay Mall. This concept is now transformed where we will host this market for 3 days in the city of Castries at Constitution Park. So in other words, everything made in Saint Lucia, everything Saint Lucian, everything related to this Creole heritage, everything related to every aspect of our culture. It will be a one-stop shop. This is where you go, you will meet the seamstress to make that outfit for Junior Creole. She'll be on site. This is where you will meet the crafters. This is where you will be able to sample food and, of course, enjoy entertainment, string bands, masquerade, experience our culture. So for 3 days, this Creole market will be open to the public as you walk through town, this vibe and this buzz of the city.
The press briefing took place at the Folk Research Center at Mount Pleasant. For the DBS News World, I am Alex Bousquet.
Still in the first segment of the broadcast, Street Vibes.
Hi, I'm Alex Bousquet, and you're watching Street Vibes. Apart from Hurricane Irma and its devastation, there is another hurricane brewing outside in the Atlantic. How prepared are you for this hurricane season?
I'm not prepared, honestly speaking. I'm not prepared.
Why are you not prepared?
Because that's come on me so certain. We just have to put God first in everything we do. Yes, because He's the answer.
Well, as a Saint Lucian, I'm not quite prepared, but I am doing the necessary things.
Are you saying that as you're not quite prepared as a Saint Lucian, this is a norm among Saint Lucians?
Yeah, it is a norm among Saint Lucians. Yes, it is.
But I doesn't worry about hurricane. I worry about me, make sure I always on. As a house, I must always have a lamp. Yeah. And I think the hurricane is nature. Okay? So nature is actually telling us get ready at all time. And I'm ready. I'm ready. Food, stocks, gasoline, K-oil. We're talking about candles. Necessities. For the hurricane, I'm ready.
Well, when I watch it, like, before people was not taking it very serious, but now, before the storm is coming, people getting prepared, they're buying their candles, you know, stuff, nail up their door and stuff like that. So I feel like right now people taking it very serious, because when they say a hurricane is coming, there's coming. Before they used to say they're not believing that, but now people taking it very serious.
How prepared are you?
Well, I'm prepared. Well, you don't have to wait for the hurricane for you to be prepared. I mean, you see candles and them stuff, that's things you should always have at your home for if in case of anything that you have as backup. So you should always be prepared. The same as the coming of Christ. You have to always be prepared for the coming of God. So you have to be prepared for everything, not only for the hurricane, but for life on the whole.
I'm prepared.
How prepared?
I'm prepared. Prepared my food, my lights, my radio. Make sure that my phone have charge if in case something happened to call another neighbor of mine.
So you're prepared?
Yes, I'm well prepared.
Well, you've just been watching Street Vibes with me, Alex Bousquet, down here at the Aquarius Crossing, the intersection of Coral and St. Louis Street. With that, we'll take you right back to our studio.
Thank you very much, Alex. You're watching St. Lucia's television and news leader and listening to us on Rhythm FM 95.5. We are also online and the big screen at the Aquarius Crossing in downtown Castries. Still to come, a call for better waste management as Rev C's dump garbage at the Castries waterfront. And the CIBC First Caribbean prepares to host its 6th walk for the Cure event. Thank you so much for staying with the DBS News World. Prime Minister Alan Shastin says St. Lucia may be used as an evacuation point as the most powerful Atlantic Ocean hurricane in recorded history made its first landfall in the islands of the Northeast Caribbean early today, churning along a path pointing to Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Cuba, before possibly heading for Florida over the weekend. Officials say the eye of Hurricane Irma passed over Barbuda at about 1:47 a.m. Here is Don Nicholas.
Antigua and Barbuda residents said over local radio that phone lines went down. Heavy rain and howling winds battered Antigua, sending debris flying as people huddled in their homes or government shelters. Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Alan Shastin, met with the OECS Secretariat and the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association, as well as the Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture to coordinate relief efforts.
We anticipate that the southern countries from St. Lucia southwards are going to have to play a more significant role in being a first response. So we are working with the Chamber and also the Hotels Association to anticipate what the needs are going to be and to make sure that we're able to collect materials, water, canned food, clothing from St. Lucians and make sure that they're properly packaged and being able to deliver it as quickly as possible to the affected parties up north.
Antiguan officials encouraged people to seek protection from Irma's onslaught. In Barbuda, the storm ripped off the roof of the island's police station, forcing officers to seek refuge in the nearby fire station and at the community center that served as an official shelter. The Category 5 storm also knocked out communication between islands. There was damage to several homes, but it is still too early to assess the extent of the damage. The OECS Secretariat will be working with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency on providing assistance.
The Hotel and Tourism Association is rallying together to provide support to the wider private sector and the government of St. Lucia as we try to assemble our resources to provide whatever support we're called upon to provide to our sister isles. We certainly are moving from a position of empathy, having experienced the full brunt of storms in the past. We know all too well the suffering that these systems can bring with them. And so we are banding together to get a better sense of what our room inventory is going to be like in the event that we need to provide accommodation for evacuees.
The OECS Commission is working closely with SEDIMA. We have a committee of all of our disaster experts from across the OECS who are an extended part of the SEDIMA response mechanism. So we are taking all of our information centrally from SEDIMA. We are coordinating efforts with them, and on a parallel track, because of the magnitude of this event, we are looking to mobilize supplementary resources over and beyond what SEDIMA normally does.
Prime Minister Shastin says there is a possibility that St. Lucia may be used as an evacuation point. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
The Castries Constituencies Council is renewing calls for St. Lucians to practice better waste management practices after strong sea swells generated by Hurricane Irma dumped large amounts of garbage at the Castries waterfront yesterday. Alex Busquet has that story.
CCC team members of the sanitation department were deployed on Wednesday morning to clean up the debris which washed ashore at the Castries waterfront from Tuesday morning due to strong winds and high tides.
In light of the debris that was washed ashore yesterday at the Castries waterfront, we'd just like to inform members of the public that our team members are on it. We're handling the situation. From yesterday, we got wind of that and we deployed some of our team members from the sanitation department to sweep up and take care of the debris. And this is the case this morning as well. We know that, that debris was washed ashore by the high tides.
Mr. Hollingshead says the problem stems from the manner in which persons dispose of their garbage, and now the impact of these actions can be seen.
So this goes to show that we here in St. Lucia do not take the whole garbage collection or our garbage disposal at a serious level. It shows that we continue to indiscriminately dispose of our garbage, you know, in the rivers, in the streams, in the gutters. So while we're trying to curtail, you know, that situation through our city police department, who charge persons who continue to litter, we ask that persons, you know, be wary and of course take garbage disposal at heart.
Hollingshead is imploring persons to practice proper garbage disposal. For the DBS News World, I am Alex Bousquet.
The Ministry of Social Transformation, Local Government and Community Empowerment has joined forces with several partners to bring relief to underprivileged families in communities around the island. Recently, the ministry handed over supplies to beneficiaries of the Public Assistance Program, along with a group of underprivileged children. We hear more in this report.
On Wednesday, August 30th, 2017, the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Empowerment, Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Local Government handed over supplies to beneficiaries of the Public Assistance Program and underprivileged children. Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Empowerment, Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Local Government, Don French, extended special thanks to the donors for the much-needed supplies.
Very often we see in the news all the wrong that young people do, and today we see something positive from the young people who do a lot of positive work in the society. And the ministry was really proud to work with these young people, as well as, of course, Rise Saint Lucia. But particularly, I think I want to focus on the work that the young people did. We have Ms. Tusse that also pointed out that the ministry is willing to work with anyone who wants to distribute, because you collect items and you're not sure how to get it to your target group. You can always come into the ministry and make that donation.
Don French also donated a few of her storybooks entitled Peanuts.
I'm a writer when I'm not a DPS, and I have a series of books about a little girl called Peanut. This year, I wanted to donate some books to some children because I recognize that the book list called for storybooks. So when I realized that today we'd be having the ceremony here, I contacted Catherine and said, well, whilst you're here, I will just pass the books on to you. All that being said, it was just really to make a donation of 10 copies of Peanut and the Monster Under the Bed, and she will decide who she's going to give it to.
The supplies range from shoes, creams, notebooks, storybooks, school socks, and stationery. The items were donated by Raise Your Voice Saint Lucia, Don's Books, and the Liking Aquatic Swim Club. Catherine Seeley is the representative for Raise Your Voice Saint Lucia.
What we've noticed is that the Ministry of Social Transformation has all the social services and the resources are quite stretched. So we thought we would collaborate with them and donated whatever we collected to them so that it will help them in their work and in the families they were trying to help.
Tessa, the representative for the Aquatic Swim Club, applauded the initiative.
Every year we try to get our swimmers to get a better understanding of what it means to give back, especially to persons in need. So we came up with an initiative called Walk in My Shoes, where we thought that there may be many children around St. Lucia going to school without shoes come September. And so we decided to ask our children, their parents, to donate shoes so that we can pass on to children in need. We got in touch with the ministry and they gave us an idea of the numbers of persons in need, and we put together this donation of shoes, socks, vests and underwear to assist persons in need to help them have a better start to the 2017 school year.
Presentations were made to the welfare officers around the island, and a child from Fouansho was a proud recipient of a scholarship sponsored by the Titus Prevail Foundation. The Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Empowerment, Youth Development, Sports, Culture and Local Government will continue to foster collaboration with relevant partners to bring relief to the underprivileged families in the communities around the island. From the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Empowerment, Youth Development, Sports, Culture and Local Government, I am Chevre Marius.
We continue the broadcast with Core Values.
Last month, the 89th class of Peace Corps volunteers were sworn into service around the island in various communities and schools. In long-standing tradition, an event was held to recognize the new volunteers with the gathering of their host families, government officials, and Peace Corps staff who made it all happen. Peace Corps volunteers share their hopes for their service.
Swearing in is really a milestone, and it acknowledges all the work and the training that we have done in the past 10 weeks and brings us to officially becoming volunteers and really getting ready to do what we came to do, which is work in the primary schools with our literacy program, just to help build that literacy base for students, because that's really the fundamental building block for any other type of learning.
Chris Adams, who addressed the audience with an entire speech in Creole using lessons from the past few weeks, says that language learning was hugely important for their success.
One of the things that Peace Corps promotes is cultural sustainability and cultural relativity in the schools. And so part of our training was really learning about language, the Creole language, the patois. And that's really important to make sure that our students feel welcome, their culture feels affirmed, and that we're here to share, we're here to learn. So learning patois, be able to speak a few words, say a few proverbs, really helps out in the classroom.
This swearing ceremony for the 89th class of volunteers allowed the 88th preceding class to reflect on what the last year has taught them and served as encouragement to keep going.
Being at the swearing-in ceremony again has really made me think about, or rethink about, why I came into Peace Corps in the first place. It was really wonderful to see all of the new volunteers officially become volunteers and to hear the speeches by many esteemed members, the Prime Minister and the Ambassador, and they really helped to remind me that I'm here to really serve the people here.
This milestone occasion marks the official release of new volunteers into the island to build on the efforts of the Peace Corps Primary English Literacy Project. For Core Values, I'm Devin Howard.
When we come back in just a moment, two St. Lucians resident overseas team up with Flow to give back.
This segment was brought to you by Sagicor Finance. Sagicor Finance, wise financial thinking for life.
Look at your life. All you want is financial freedom to live a comfortable lifestyle. Take a trip, own a car, invest in your future, or even purchase some construction equipment. Are you carrying too much debt? Obviously, there's a huge gap between your current challenges and the lifestyle you dream of. Thankfully, there is Sagicor Finance. Sagicor Finance is a provider of finance services that help bring stability to your financial goals. We offer comprehensive and affordable range of financial solutions, such as fixed deposits at competitive interest rates, vehicle loans, personal loans, land loans, construction and equipment loans, lease financing, insurance financing, speedy approval. Come in today and talk to one of our professional and knowledgeable staff and enjoy our wide range of products and services. Sagicor Finance, wise financial thinking for life.
We listened to what you had to say and tore up the old rules, because losing what you paid for is just wrong. Now, lost data and talk are a thing of the past. Only Digicel gives you unlimited rollover data and talk. Just buy and renew your QuickPick bundle before it expires and keep what's rightfully yours. Never lose what you don't use. Go to My Digicel app to bundle up and roll over today. Digicel.
We do not only sell beautiful home decor, but at BN Home Decor Home Improvement, we supply you with home building accessories at affordable retail prices and also wholesale prices. Unique pipe head fittings for your kitchen and bathroom, doorknobs and locks, tools, PVC plumbing supplies, garden items, bathroom furniture, specialty items, laundry supplies, LED bulbs, solar motion sensors, and so much more. BN Home Decor Home Improvement. We have what you're looking for.
Without limits, happy and free. The skin you're in with no apology. The one to seize the day. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. With LLB. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. to a lemon, lime, and bitters. Live, love, be.
Distributed by Blue Water Saint Lucia.
It's a 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch. With a massive sale at both stores. One sale, 2 locations in Castries and the Baywalk Mall. Access offers different styles in each location, so make sure you take advantage of each store's massive sale. That's right, a massive, huge sale at Access and Castries and Access the Baywalk Mall. 2 locations, 1 massive sale for the moments that matter. Sale now on.
Freak out with that window in your hand, eh?
Yep. And I'll do it again.
You're watching the DBS News World. The Community Development Department, in collaboration with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, held a series of capacity-building workshops recently aimed at empowering some of the underprivileged persons in communities around the island. We hear more in this report.
The government of Saint Lucia is aware of the many challenges facing society and the world. The economic crisis has brought forth the need to have social stability and provide security for our people. To accomplish the task, the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Empowerment, Youth Development, Sports, Culture and Local Government has taken a multidimensional approach to poverty reduction in Saint Lucia. The approach is called Multidimensional Approach to Poverty, MDAP. During the month of August, the Community Development Department, in collaboration with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, held a series of capacity-building workshops around the island geared towards building confidence in underprivileged persons. Deputy Director for Community Development, Jim Xavier, tells us more about the initiative.
We today are witnessing some excellent presentations from various groups around the island. We have groups from Soufrière, Monrepo, Bakade, in Vieux-Fort and so on. And what we're learning is that those young persons have been trained and have been developed to go into small businesses, agro-businesses, tourism-based businesses, to enhance the capacity of their communities.
At the closing ceremony, the workshop participants were required to develop business proposals which had to be presented and examined. Danley Labon is the project consultant for the MDAP project.
There are 4 communities involved in this OECS capacity building project, and it's a regional project involving other territories. And in the case of Saint Lucia, there are 4 communities. There's Forbenier, Soufrière, there's the Gara community up north, and in the East Coast we have Monrepo and the Bakade community, which is part of Vieux-Fort. And today what we're doing, because the project officially has come to an end in terms of the community interventions, we have the communities reporting to the ministry or presenting, if you want, in terms of what they have, their proposals, their ideas, where they want to go, with the hope that that can form part of the ministry's agenda.
Virgil Patrick, the entrepreneurial development specialist for the MDAP project, applauded the initiative.
This is the ministry that has the mandate to do exactly this, to develop the peoples of the community, and therefore we felt that it felt right into the same mandate, because here the community is saying that they would like to partner with government, they would like to become more economically strong, they would like their members to become socially developed, and this is a ministry that has the mandate to do a similar exercise.
The meeting was held on Tuesday, August 29th at the conference room of the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Empowerment, Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Local Government. From the Ministry of Equity, Social Justice, Empowerment, Youth Development, Sports, Culture and the Local Government, I am Jerry Marius.
2 past students of the St. Joseph's Convent, now residing in the United States, donated several school bags and other supplies to the students of the Montdudon Primary School today. This is the 5th year that the pair has made such a donation. This year, telecommunications company Flow partnered with the sisters and donated an additional 60 school bags. We have a report.
Lorraine and Jocelyn Hall, who reside in the U.S., have been donating school bags and supplies to schools in the Castries Basin for 5 consecutive years.
Today we are at the Montdudon School doing a presentation, and we also have Flow with support of an extra 60 bags. So we've been to like 6 schools in Saint Lucia so far this week, namely Vidbouteille, Carmen Rene, SDA Primary, Anglican, Methodist School, and today we're here at Montdudon. So we'd like to thank the Hall sisters in the U.S. and their friends for remembering Saint Lucia, because it's a very good gesture that they're doing continuously for 5 years now.
Telecommunications company Flow partnered with the Hall sisters in this initiative and donated an additional 60 school bags.
As you would have heard from the representative from the class of 1979, the need actually outweighs the ability to supply the need. So we are very delighted that we were able to come on board and be able to supplement the work that they are doing and be able to supply a number of additional children with that basic need for back to school.
And I'm really extremely happy this morning to welcome Mrs. Hall and her organization. Today it's a day for big smiles on my students' faces. They are really, really grateful anytime they receive any donation, especially school supplies. I really want to thank this organization for remembering us, for considering us for this generous donation this morning. Thank you very much.
The handover ceremony took place on the school compound on Wednesday. For the DBS News World, I am Alex Bousquet.
CIBC's First Caribbean International Bank launched its Walk for the Cure initiative for 2017. Walk for the Cure has become the bank's flagship activity and one of the Caribbean's largest cancer fundraising and educational initiatives, raising over US $1.5 million over the last 5 years that it has been held. It has attracted thousands of walkers from the Bahamas in the north, to Trinidad in the south, and the 15 other territories in between, which make up the bank's regional footprint. The walk has spawned a regional network of sponsors, which has grown with each year of the event. The funds generated from the walk, which is held in partnership with cancer care organizations in each territory, are said to be life-changing. The funds are used primarily to assist with the purchase and maintenance of equipment used in the diagnosis and treatment of patients.
I think it's been very effective, and I think if you speak to the Cancer Society and the Faces of Cancer group, they will tell you that the funds that we've donated have really gone a long way in assisting some of the patients, some of our citizens who are fighting cancer, some of them who need that support both financially and emotionally. So I think we've really been able to make a difference in some lives.
Faces of Cancer does not have a subvention. We do not get anything from government, so we depend on companies like those to give us that kind of support where in turn we could assist other people. So it's very welcoming to know that we could be working with CIBC another year again where we could get some proceeds in order to help some cancer patients.
The launch was held at the bank's Rodney Bay branch. The walk will take place on October the 2nd. Sports is next when the DBS News World continues with Brian Calixte.
Car troubles? Need new clothes for that big event? House repairs? But no cash? Get a cash-ready loan today and you're all set to customize your car.
Good evening, welcome to the DBS Sports. We bounce up with news on basketball.
The 2017 KFC Basketball League action continued last weekend. The combination of suspense, close games and epic comebacks. The first matchup last Friday saw Sandals pulling off a 61-60 win over Digital. KFC player of the game, Kieran Walcott, finished with 20 points and 23 rebounds. Fabian Flonton and Carlos Solomon contributed 20 and 23 points respectively for Digital. The second of Friday's games was a battle between the essential services when the Saint Lucia Fire Service and the police combined forces squared off. Last year's runner-up made light work of the police, ending the game with a 54-40 victory. KFC player of the game was Fire Services Jean-Michel Eloy, who finished with 7 points, 10 rebounds and 6 steals. Martian Cauldron led the Saint Lucia Fire Services with 19 points and 18 rebounds. With 16 points, Durocher Antoine was the only Royal Saint Lucia Police Force player in double figures. Meanwhile, on Saturday, Wasco washed out Lewis Industries 70-58 in the first of 2 games. Tristan James led Wasco and stuffed the stats sheets with 33 points, 16 rebounds and 5 steals. Craig Fontelio also contributed 19 points and 13 rebounds for Wasco. Dan V. St. Martha led Lewis Industries with 24 points and 8 rebounds. The weekend was capped off with an epic comeback by the Media Ballers. The Media trailed by as many as 15 points, but rallied to overcome the deficit, giving them a 59-58 victory over the Teachers Union. Paul Hippolyte led the Media team with 20 points, 14 rebounds. Arthur Tissot contributed 14 points and 14 rebounds, and Elijah Williams also had a double-double with 12 points, 11 rebounds for the Media. Simeon Hippolyte led the Teachers with 18 points, and Nigel Francis added 14 points and 6 steals. Action continues this evening when Lewis Industries takes on defending champions, Peter & Company Distribution Goddard Group. Following the completion of the very exciting Champion of Champions tournament last weekend at the Philip Master Grounds in VA4, the official press launch of the tournament proper will be held next week, Wednesday. The press launch, which is expected to take place next week, will be held at the Overhead Surfing in VG from 6:30 p.m. Following remarks from the organizers and sponsors of this year's Black Hat event, the highly anticipated draw of fixtures will be held. 16 communities will do battle at venues around the island for over $45,000 in prize money. In cricket, a good bowling display by St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots helped them defend 150 runs against Trinbago Knight Riders in the playoff of the 2017 Hero Caribbean Premier League at the Brian Lara Stadium last night to book their place in the final on Saturday. The Patriots took early wickets, which derailed the Knight Riders' innings and continued to make breakthroughs to prevent them gaining any momentum. We have highlights.
So he's changing it up. This is catchable. Is it? Is it? Are you kidding me? Is this Dan Christian? This is one of the great catches, running away from the ball. The ball is also always going away to his left. Full pace, he called for...
Has he gone? Has he got an edge? Yes, he has. He takes a look.
Oh yeah, that was my pet event. We'll just hang in there and see if that's out.
Oh, it's a top end.
And wicket number 12 for the captain of the Trinbago Knight Riders, Dwayne Bravo. 1 point.
Simply done. Bravo. Celebrate.
He's a real wicket taker. Is Dwayne Bravo. His backhand, his change of pace.
Neck and crop. The lights are on.
Walker is not an easy ball to bowl. This was full and right up there in the block hole. Nabi.
Leading edge again, but he'll be gone this time. Should be. Easily take. Straight. Is it straight enough? Oh, that is brilliant from Javon Searles. That is
got enough teeth, this total. I think it's got baby teeth, not adult teeth. I think they're probably 20 or 30 short of what they need to be. Great catch to finish. Mr. Perkins. Yes, beautiful start. Well, go on, there you go.
Yeah, it was the pressure from the earlier deliveries that prompted the single from William Perkins. He made the call, Sunil Narayan
not quick to respond.
Oh, big shout, massive shout.
Probably supporting cricket, I would say.
Salute, Mr. Cottrell.
Brathwaite holds on. Is there a third man? Oh, yes, there is. Ben Hilvenhouse. It's another salute. And the army man. Dwayne Bravo's gone for 24. It's 91 for 9.
Well, the crowd has been silenced here. That's because of the wickets. 9 so far for the Patriots. This one, the captain of the Knight Riders, Dwayne Bravo. His little effort comes to an end.
Chris Gale takes a wicket. Mohammad Nabi does the...
The Trinbago Knight Riders will face the winner of the clash between the Guyana Amazon Warriors and the Jamaica Talawas to be played this evening. Also in Choruba for a place in the finals at Queen's Park over this weekend. Stay tuned, more sports still to come.
Hello.
Hi, I'm looking for a gift for Auntie. Where do I go?
So you can check out Scott's.
Scott's?
Yes, Scott's Spots and Awards at Coral Street and at Baywalk Mall.
All right.
Hi, welcome to Scott's Spots and Awards. Your one-stop shop for customized gift items, including keyrings, mugs, plaques, glasses, pens, football boots, sports uniforms, basketballs, footballs, volleyballs, trophies, and awards.
I got it. Thank you.
It's a 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch. With a massive sale at both stores. One sale, 2 locations in Castries and the Baywalk Mall. Access offers different styles in each location, so make sure you take advantage of each store's massive sale. That's right, a massive, huge sale at Access and Castries and Access to Baywalk Mall. 2 locations, 1 massive sale for the moments that matter. Access. Sale now on.
Thank you for staying tuned. Still more news out of the Caribbean Premier League. Runners-up 3 times in the 5-year history of the CPL. Guyana Amazon Warriors face defending champions Jamaica Talawas in the first eliminator at the Brian Lara Stadium in South Trinidad tonight. With an emphatic win in their last game against the same opposition in Jamaica, the Warriors have gained momentum from a poor start and seem to be peaking at the right time. The Talawas coach will remind his charges that while the Warriors have been the most consistent team in the CPL, reaching 3 finals and 2 semi-finals, it was Talawas, the most successful team with 2 titles, who beat Guyana in the 2013 and 2016 finals. Tonight's atmosphere should be fantastic, with a capacity crowd including thousands of Guyanese witnessing what is anticipated to be a pulsating contest in the biggest party in sports in the party capital of the Caribbean. Police in Rio raided the home of Brazil's Olympic chief Carlos Arthur Nuzman after prosecutors accused him of conspiring with the former state governor Sergio Cabral, already convicted in a separate corruption case, to buy the games. More in this report.
In Brazil, police have raided the home of the head of the country's Olympic Committee as part of an international investigation into suspected vote buying. Carlos Nuzman, the president of the Brazilian Olympic Committee, was among several targets. In addition to having his home searched, Nuzman's assets were frozen on Tuesday. Investigators believe African countries took bribes, allowing Rio to successfully rig the result and host the Summer Games. The headquarters of Brazil's Olympic Committee was also raided as part of an operation named Unfair Play. The Brazilian city was eventually awarded the 2016 Olympics over Madrid by a result of 66 votes to 32. Despite losing in the first round of the 2009 IOC vote to the Spanish city, Rio came out on top in the third round.
And finally, news on tennis, US Open. Spain's Pablo Carreño Busta cruised into his first Grand Slam semi-final, and American Sloane Stephens matched her best slam showing by reaching the last four yesterday at the US Open. Carreño Busta, who has not dropped a set, down Argentine 29 seed Diego Schwartzman 6-4, 6-4, 6-2, while 83rd ranked Stephens outlasted Latvian 16th seed Anastasia Sevastova 6-3, 3-6, 7-6. Venus Williams reached her 23rd Grand Slam semi-final with a thrilling win over Petra Kvitova in a final set tiebreak. The 37-year-old American won 6-3, 3-6, 7-6 in front of a rapturous night session crowd in New York. Stay tuned, the weather is up next.
The Tropical Weather Report is brought to you with the kind compliments of Fix, financial investment and consultancy services.
This summer, Fix is providing loans of up to $5,000 with competitive interest rates to help cover all school-related expenses, from tuition fees, school books, brand new iPads or laptops, and uniforms. Visit us at number 15 Bridge Street, Castries, or Providence Commercial Center, Rodney Bay. Telephone 458-8700 or 458-8740.
Whatever your financial needs, we've got a plan for you. Fix.
You're watching the 5 hurricane that's now making its closest approach to Puerto Rico. Winds are astounding 185 miles per hour. Pressure 914 millibars, moving west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. All right, where exactly do we think that this is going to go? What impacts could we have in Puerto Rico? Strong north wind force right now with the counterclockwise flow here. The strongest winds will be right here in the eye wall, closest to the center. It's basically that wall that surrounds the eye. Then the winds gradually decrease as you go out, but still pretty strong winds out of the north and northwest here through the night in San Juan. 63 mile per hour winds right now, and you're going to get the surge on the north side of the island as well as these winds push all that water onto those beaches here and against the rocky shores. So we're anticipating storm surge that could be as high as 6 feet on the north shore of Puerto Rico. Here's a look at the latest computer models, and there is some pretty decent agreement now on where this may go. Certainly there will be opportunities for this to fluctuate, especially the farther in time you go. A short term here, say the next 2 to 3 days, we have some pretty decent agreement. After that, especially with the right-hand turn, things could get a little bit different, but as of right now, Florida certainly and the East Coast need to be on alert and making preparations. And they're doing that right now. Grocery stores, bulk warehouses, and home improvement stores in South Florida jammed again today as people gather everything they need to get ready for Irma. The Weather Channel's Justin Michaels talked with people in the Fort Lauderdale area.
The Tropical Weather Report was brought to you with the kind compliments of Fix, financial investment and consultancy services, a company you can trust.
Now to our thought to take you through the night. Sometimes when you hold out for everything, you walk away with nothing. The DBS News continues. Please stay tuned.
Your perfect day starts tonight with a perfect mattress from Quartz. Right now, get mattresses from as low as $279. Plus, getting the right mattress is more affordable with nothing down and nothing to pay for 60 days. So shop at Quartz to help you start your perfect day. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Time now for the usual reminder. Police on the hunt for 2 gunmen who shot and killed a security guard at the Caribbean Cinemas complex on Tuesday evening. The Ministry of Health supports tougher regulations to control smoking. A call for better waste management as rough seas dump garbage at the Castries waterfront. And CIBC First Caribbean prepares to host its 6th walk for the Cure event. And that's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the DBS News World. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Timothy Polio. I'm wishing you a very good evening. Coming up at 8:30 tonight, Newsmaker Live. Join me in just a bit.